Hello and welcome to i-nastava. Today's English class is for the third year of high school, and the topic is What's New on Your Social Network? My name is Stephanie Kate Lukač, and I'll be your teacher for the day. You're going to recognize the benefits to social networks. Also, you will express your opinion on social network detox. For today's lesson, you're going to need something to write with, a device with internet connection, and a QR code scanner if possible. Feel free to pause the video anytime you need. Take a moment to think about which social networks you use, whether it be YouTube, Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, whichever. See how many from this countdown that you have, rating from number 6, Snapchat, TikTok, or Twitter. As for the top 3, I'm certain most, if not all of you, have these apps on your phone. I know Facebook has been decreasing in popularity over the past few years, but somehow it still manages to rank high on the ladder. When it comes to YouTube or Instagram, these apps most definitely won't go out of style. There are many reasons why adolescents use social networks. My guess is talking to friends is number 1. Your social life is at its peak and of the utmost importance at this age, so it's no wonder. However, others might want to get in on group conversations or interact with new friends. Some feel it's necessary to stay in touch with what's going on in the world. The feeling of missing out on something new is a concern for many teenagers as well, while pure boredom is another reason for using social networks. Which category do you think you fall under? You're going to listen to 5 speakers, A to E. Listen and match the corresponding sentence with the speaker. There's one extra sentence you don't need. The next slide has the link for matching, and you'll listen while simultaneously matching up the sentences with the speakers. If you'd like, pause the video and take notes on what to listen for based on these sentences. Please open the link before you listen. Pause the video in order to do this. At the end of the listening task, click on Submit Answers and you will see which answers are correct. You need to match the extra sentence as well, don't forget. Remember to let your teacher know what your results are, and good luck. Speaker A.
Oh my god, I just love Twitter. I don't think I could live without it. Sure, I love being able to follow different celebrities and the world of entertainment, but what interests me the most is the news. Whether it be politics, economics, the world of science and technology, or any international occurrences, it's always been my opinion that we as young adults need to step up and get involved. If you're not up to date in the media, you're basically ignorant of the world around you.
Speaker B.
I would have to say that my favorite pastime is watching YouTube videos. Sure, I love other social networks like Instagram or playing World of Warcraft. However, just laying back and searching for whichever video comes to mind is what's the best and most fun. Whether I want to listen to music, watch a vlog, or I need to do some research for school, you name it, YouTube has it.
Speaker C.
Facebook isn't my absolute favorite. Nevertheless, I still like to use it mostly for correspondence. Many of my cousins who are around my age live in different countries like Canada and Australia. Since it's so far away, they can't take a trip here often, maybe every few years. We get along great and I love talking to them. Using Facebook helps me with that the most, especially since they all have it. They're not really into other social networks, I guess.
Speaker D.
I use all types of social networks. I can't say that I have a preference. From Facebook to Instagram to Snapchat, the list goes on. However, the reason behind my using these networks is sheerly a way to pass the time. When I'm finished with my homework or am looking for a break from studying, I usually swipe my phone and take a look. All my friends are using them, so I suppose that's another reason. Reading or watching TV aren't my favorite things to do. What else is there?
Speaker E.
Well, the reason I love Instagram or YouTube so much is because it gives me inspiration. My imagination runs wild as I take photographs or make videos. I love various landscapes, wildlife, everyday activities among families, all sorts of things. My friends and followers give me great ideas and support me as well, even though they're also my greatest critics. I value any and all feedback they give me, especially since most of them share my love of the arts. And hey, building my network isn't such a bad thing, since that's what I want to do after I finish school.
I hope that wasn't too difficult for you. You've seen why teenagers use social media, but have you thought about the benefits? While reading through an article about this topic, you have 7 sentences you need to insert into the text. Be sure to pay attention to what comes before, as well as what comes after the blank. This will make it easier to find the connection. You must be careful, there are 2 extra sentences among them. Good luck. The number one thing is to try, so I hope you didn't leave any answers blank. By clicking on this link, you will be able to check your answers and see how you've done. Remember to send your results to your teacher. With everything that has been going on in the world, with the coronavirus, various restrictions, being unsure of going to school, traveling, that sort of thing, is it possible to escape and get away from it all? Or has part of the new normal become spending most of your days online, using some sort of social network? Do you find you've been using your social apps more than ever before? Well, you're going to take a look at Niklas Krissel and his experience of social detoxing. Please pause the video to copy the questions from the screen so you can answer them as the video plays. I really think you'll enjoy watching it.
Social media became the new great addiction of our modern age. It is similar to alcohol, gambling, or drugs. Notifications, likes, and new followers release dopamine in our brains, and we get addicted to that feeling. Social media companies are well aware of that and design their platforms to keep us on them as long as possible. When we get asked if we could live without social media, the answer almost always is,
sure, I just don't want to.
Which is what every addict says. In the last weeks, I realized that over the years, I built an unhealthy habit of consuming a lot of social media, probably because my work was always based around it. Due to the lockdown, I was trapped at home in my boring hometown, so the online world was the place where the cool stuff happened. Therefore, the screen time on my phone got up to an all-time high of 4 hours a day. As I saw many other creators doing a social media detox and read many articles about it, I got curious. So I decided to live the next 30 days without social media and see what I can take away from this. Alright, here's the plan. I'm deleting Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Snapchat from my phone. On my laptop, I ban the websites with an app called Self-Control. It says, you will be unable to access those sites, even if you restart your computer or delete the application. Which already freaks me out, to be honest. I mean, this icon looks dangerous, right? The only exception is when I have to upload a video to YouTube. I'm allowed to do that and share it on my other socials. I also kept messengers like WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger on my phone. But besides that, nothing else. From now on, there will be no more scrolling, no funny videos, no posts of my friends having fun, and no photos of beautiful girls. In the first week, I spent most of the time filming, editing, and replying to emails, where I already ran into my first problem. A client of mine sent me an email with a video link to a video which is similar to the one he wants, and it was a YouTube link. So I tried to open it, but I couldn't because of the program. So I came up with an idea and I downloaded it with a YouTube downloader on the internet. It's a little bit of cheating, I guess, but I mean, I had to. I also spent a lot of time with friends. On one day, my buddy Alex and I hiked up a mountain and made it to the top just in time before the sun was about to set. The whole scenery looked perfect, and the old me would have probably snapped 100 pictures and Instagram stories to share it with the online world. But as I couldn't do that, I really got to enjoy the moment and took it all in, without worrying about how many likes this picture would get. It kind of felt liberating. Later that week, I fell back into old habits. Sometimes I caught myself tapping where my social media apps used to be. I binge-watched several series on Netflix as I needed another source of entertainment, and I spent much more time on WhatsApp. Not only to text with friends, but weirdly also to look at the different profile pictures of them. Probably that was which came closest to Instagram, I guess. Day 7 of social media detox, and today's my birthday! Guys, come on. Usually people reach out via Facebook or mostly Facebook, to be honest, and they just say happy birthday and post something on your page. But today is a little bit different because I just can't look on my Facebook or any other social media. Still, some of my real good friends, they reached out, they called me, or we just FaceTimed. Yeah, I don't really miss any of the comments where people just say happy birthday on Facebook and that's all. It's so much better to have people just reaching out, truly asking what you're up to. It just feels like a much stronger connection than just via social media. Later that day, some of my closest friends came over and we had dinner together, which was really fun. In the next 2 weeks, a lot of things happened and changed. I bought myself a new drone and tested it together with my brother. As I didn't fly drones for quite some time, it was really fun to get back to it, and I decided to do a little road trip to some of the nicest places in my region to practice flying and capture some cool shots. To make use of this trip, I decided to shoot a video about why we should make more mistakes. So I drove along those winding roads while talking about the things which really mattered to me, and every now and then I stopped to fly my drone. As the day slowly came to an end, I felt something that I didn't feel for a long time. I was passionate about the work I did. Throughout the whole day, I barely used my phone and I felt like I really connected with filmmaking and storytelling again. In the weeks before I quit social media, I was in a deep creative rut. I had no inspiration and no motivation to create anything. But on this day, everything turned around. I felt re-energized and active, and I was ready for a new chapter. After staying in my parents' house for 8 weeks due to coronavirus, I decided to leave my hometown and move to Munich. Okay, so now it's day 20 and I am here in Munich for 7 days now, and so far I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling really productive. This week I actually published 2 videos on YouTube instead of 1, which was my goal. So yeah, that's really nice. I just felt like creating a lot of videos at the moment, so that's what I did. But something's also changed, because when I was at home at my parents' house, there were still people around me all the time. There was my mom, my brother, so there were always people that I could just talk to. But here it's just myself. There's nobody else here. And because of that, I actually had a stronger need to socialize with other people, and therefore also to go more on social media apps. So that's why I became actually a little bit active on LinkedIn. You take what you get, right? Yeah, I'm not really taking it seriously, but still I feel like there's a deep need in us to see what's happening in other people's lives. I don't know why, but yeah, I feel the need to just see what's happening with other people. In the next few days, I spent the majority of the time in front of my laptop editing videos. I was motivated, focused, and rarely distracted. I was in a creative flow and I got a lot of things done. While I enjoyed my work again and was passionate about creating videos, there was still something missing. In the evenings when I finished work, I would often just sit in my bed and I didn't really know what to do. I was exhausted and I didn't know how to fill these last hours of my day, as I would normally spend them on social media. So I knew something needed to change. That's why I started to read books and go running in the evenings. I even set a new personal record.
Holy shit, I just ran 21 kilometers in 1:20. Oh.
To counter my lack of social interactions, I started to meet up with different friends and old colleagues every other evening. Sometimes I went to the park on my own to just chill and eat something. Even by just sitting there and drinking a beer with my duck friends, I already felt happy and social in some way. I would say that in this last week, I definitely became more active.
Okay, it's now day 30, but to be honest, I wasn't even looking forward to go on social media anymore, because I really enjoyed the last 30 days without it. But for the sake of this video, I still downloaded all the apps and I replied to my messages, I scrolled through Instagram and I watched some YouTube videos. 1.5 hours were gone just like that, and yeah, the time just flew by and I was just sitting in bed and I was kind of overwhelmed, because my mind didn't have access to that much information in the last 30 days. The funny thing is that there was nothing really worth mentioning that happened on social media. Nothing changed and everything was just still the same. I didn't miss out on anything, but still my mind was just running wild again and I was distracted and I couldn't really focus. Therefore I decided to not use any more social media for today at least.
Okay, so what did I take away from these last 30 days? While due to my job it was sometimes hard to stay completely off social media, it had many benefits. As I spent less time on my phone, I had more time for my real friends. I reconnected with people who I didn't meet in years, and it felt like already existing friendships only improved. I stopped comparing myself with other people all the time. When I scrolled through social media, I always saw the amazing works of other filmmakers and thought to myself, why can't I be this good at creating videos? Why should I even try if it has been done before? During the detox, these questions started to disappear and I reconnected with my passion and creating videos again. I started publishing new videos every week and my views and subscribers really started to increase, which is awesome. Thanks for subscribing, guys. My productivity increased as well, as I had no problem getting into a creative flow while working. I was less distracted, more focused, and had an overall mental clarity. The biggest change that I saw happening was my ability to be in the present moment. While normally the time seemed to rush by and my mind jumped from one thought to another, a few weeks into the detox, everything around me started to slow down, and I was able to drown out the noise. As I could only think about positive aspects that I took away from my social media detox, I was sure that I'm not going to go back to how things were. So here's what I'm going to change. I turned off all notifications for social media apps. In this way, I don't get pulled into the apps by themselves, but instead I only use the apps if I really want to. I started building a habit of going for a 30-minute walk every single morning without any distractions. No phone, no music, just walking, listening to the wind blowing through the leaves and seeing the city come alive. These walks make me feel very present and free up my mind. I will start to do no social media Sundays. So every Sunday I don't consume any social media in order to connect with the real world and recharge my batteries.
So this 30-day detox turned out to be a much bigger project than I expected in the beginning. It really changed the way I interact with social media and my perception of the things happening around me. I think all of us should do this kind of detox in order to reevaluate our relationship to social media and also to prioritize our time in the real world and in the online world. So trust me on this. Give it a try, don't use any social media for the next 30 days, be strict with yourself, and I'm sure you're going to experience as many benefits as I did.
While going through the answers to the questions, see if you have at least similar answers. I've used notes instead of full sentences, which is what you should have as your answers. For example, Nicholas compares social media with using drugs, alcohol, or gambling. He came across some problems such as not being able to open YouTube videos for work, and he didn't know what to do with himself. Before detox, he was in a rut with no ideas and no inspiration. During detox, however, he started to become more passionate and more creative. Along with being more productive or creative, he stayed focused, was rarely distracted, and he took up some hobbies like reading books and running. He also met up with friends and enjoyed the moment and also went out by himself. Niklas didn't want to go back to social media. Time flew by faster and he felt overwhelmed. Also, he felt that nothing had changed while he was away. Take a look at what he took away from the experiment. Sometimes it was hard, but he had more time for his real friends. He stopped putting himself down. His productivity was increased and he was less distracted, and he was more in the present. After the experiment, he turned off his notifications, got more physical exercise, turned off social media on Sundays, and overall he's more content. After seeing Niklas's story, have you thought about detoxing from social media for a while? I'd like you to pause the video to reflect on your thoughts and impressions of the video and the general topic of social detoxing. Take some notes regarding these few things as well. What did you take away from it? Not literally, but did you learn something about yourself? Or are you more aware of this issue? What positives or negatives have come up from watching this? Make a short recording around 3 to 5 minutes and send it to your teacher. You can use vocalroo.com, for example, or the recorder on your mobiles, whichever your teacher prefers. Think about it for a bit and get cracking. For the end, I'd like you to write down 3 things you love about social networks, 2 things you're indifferent about, and 1 thing you really don't like. I hope you enjoyed the lesson, and remember, although we all love using social networks in our daily lives, don't let it consume you. There are beautiful and meaningful things in the real world, not just in the digital. Stay safe, stay healthy, and take care.